There's a new day, always a new time. There's a new way, gonna live my life. All the old has passed away, and the new has come. Thank God it's a brand new day. Looking back.
Hello, good afternoon. You're welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. I'm really happy to be here again. It's me, Ivy, and you're listening to KBNLive.com. This is going to be a very special episode of Let's Talk, being that we're celebrating our Independence Day in Nigeria. And I have a special guest here with me, a friend of mine. His name is Kenneth. Kenneth, can you say hi to the listeners, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenneth. I'm a student at Windsor. I'm happy to be here to talk to all of you guys, and happy Independence Day, Nigeria.
Oh, thank you so much, Kenneth, for making out time to be here with us today. I really appreciate it. Okay, and our topic for today is going to be on addiction. But before I go in, I just want to please let you know that the playlist for today is strictly from Kenneth. Every song on our playlist today, Kenneth actually picked them out. So I hope you enjoy them. They are mostly Nigerian songs because, of course, you know, we're celebrating our Independence Day. And later on, we'll have some surprises from Kenneth too. Before we go on, I just want to remind you to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/kbnlive.com, and also facebook.com/Let's Talk with Ivy. Let's Talk with Ivy on kbnlive.com. So if you want to send a shout out to your friends, your family, your loved ones, you can send us a message on our Facebook and we'll read them out on the show. And just to let you know ahead of time, Let's Talk will be celebrating their 1 year anniversary. And so if you have any message, if you want to send a shout out to anybody on that special day, you can also send us a message. Okay, so going on with the topic, we're talking about addictions. And so Kenneth here is going to tell us a lot about addictions. If you have questions, you can send us a message and we'll read, and Kenneth will answer your questions. Any question you want to ask, just name it, anything. He's an expert on this topic. And so he's going to tell us about addiction now. Kenneth, I know, I don't know, I've been hearing that everybody knows about addictions, and whenever people think of addictions, they think of maybe taking drugs, they think of, I don't know, all the normal things people think of when they hear addiction. So I'm really happy that you're here to straighten out some things, and you're going to tell us a lot about all this. So what can you tell us about addiction? What is addiction?
Well, an addiction is a repetitive behavior or any repetitive behavior in which a person has little control. It's very difficult to control, and the person will continue this behavior despite its risks and its implications to the individual. Some people might mistake habits and addictions, but that's not completely true. Habits are different from addictions in the sense that habits are more under your control and they're easier to stop, whereas addictions are more physical and psychological and are much harder to control.
Okay, yeah, you just said something about they know the risk and they still continue with it. Do you know, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, if they know the risk, can they feel the effect? Do they have any, like, would they feel differently? I don't know. You know how when you have pain, maybe you're doing something now, maybe you're holding something hot and you get pain from it. You know there is pain, like you can feel the pain. Would they let go of it, or they'll still continue with the risk?
The problem with addictions is that many of these addictions tend to rewire the brain's communication, such that it stimulates the pleasure centers in the brain, places like the lateral hypothalamus, places like the nucleus accumbens. It causes these systems to increase their firing and increase their activity such that they derive pleasure from it, even though they realize that it has its negative effects. So it makes it much harder to stop.
Wow, okay. Hope you guys are listening. I just want to remind you, if you don't have a pen and paper, you can get one. You can get yours now, because it's going to be saying a lot of things, and so I would like you to jot them down so that you can always go back to them next time you want to read on this topic. And also, please do invite your friends. If your friends are not with you, you can invite them to also listen. You don't know who you're helping at this time. Okay, Kenneth, thank you so much. But can you tell us what causes these addictions?
Sometimes addictions are caused by things like peer pressure. Some people are pressured into drinking or smoking. You also have cases in which stress will be the trigger. Sometimes a person maybe loses their job or has some marital strife of some sort, and they're pushed into taking drugs or seeking out some kind of addictive behavior. They also have cases in which parents are also addicts of some kind of drug or behavior, and it increases the risk of their children also developing this behavior.
Okay. Like I said earlier, like when you talk about addictions, when people say when they hear addiction, they just think of drugs. And can you tell us the types of addictions? Because I'm sure there are a lot of different types of addictions from what you explained. So, like, can you tell us the different types of addictions?
Yeah. There are different types of addictions, from the very common ones like alcohol, smoking, drug use like cocaine use or heroin use. You also have some people who their addictive behaviors are gambling. Gambling is an addictive behavior, and seemingly innocuous, harmless things might also be addictive. Some people are addicted to eating chocolate, and there's some people who are even addicted to playing games, up to the extent of even dying while playing games.
Are you serious? So something like that can happen?
Yes, it can. There was a person in Taiwan, I think an 18-year-old. He played games for 86 straight hours. He did not
Wow.
eat, he did not drink, he did not sleep.
Wow.
He died playing games.
Wow.
It's very common in Asia, and it happens in many countries.
Wow, that's serious. I think some people are also addicted. I don't know. Maybe you just explained about habits and addiction. I don't know. I feel some people are addicted to Facebook. Like some people can just leave Facebook every time. They're always on Facebook.
Yeah, true, true. I definitely would raise my hand to that. I would raise my hand to that. But that many people who say they're addicted to Facebook aren't really addicted to it, because if they were, they would climb mountains even if it meant that they can get just one computer to check their Facebook page.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. It's true because if you don't have an internet, if you don't have like a source at that time, you can always do. But I think some people go on with their phones because sometimes when they check the Facebook, they are leaving the house, they have their phones, they check with their phones, they just keep checking. I don't know. Well, I don't know. So I think that should be. I always have. No, I don't have that. But once I have an internet, I always want to go to the Facebook. I don't know. Okay. So can you tell us more about this addiction? Can you tell us more about addictions?
Well, some certain kinds like sexual addictions might stem from some mental illness. It could also be from brain damage in people who have things like lesions in the amygdala. They might become hypersexual. And there are some other people who might be some latent form of homosexuality or lesbianism that might lead them to sleeping with more sexual partners and having more sexual partners. Conditions like Don Juanism, in which because of latent male sexual preference, they become more, should I say, they tend to go after more female partners, just trying to prove to themselves that they are not homosexuals. You also have the female counterparts of things like that too. And you also have things like people who are addicted to pornography, masturbation too, and a few other things of that sort. It's very common, actually, different types of addictive behavior and drug use, especially in today's world in which there's a lot more stress.
Yeah.
So people tend to do these things to escape this.
Wow. So do you think addiction is a mental illness?
Not really. A lot of people think that those who are addicts are weak-minded and maybe morally corrupt, but it's not always true, because sometimes some of these people don't always choose this behavior, and a lot of them actually do want to stop, but it's very difficult to stop something that makes you feel happy.
Yeah.
If I were to tell you to stop your hobby, you wouldn't be willing to kick it out either, even though you might be ready to if you find out it starts to harm you. But something that gives you that much pleasure, you will find it difficult to let go.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Okay, we'll be going on our first music break, and after the break, Kenneth will be talking a lot more about this topic. I just want to remind you to invite your friends. If you don't have a pen and paper, you can get yours down, so you can write out everything he's saying. He's going to be saying a lot of medical terms, so you can also write them down and check them out later if you're not a medical student. Okay, so we're going on our music break. Enjoy the break.
tonight. Every day with you, Lord. Oh, yeah. James 2:23 says Abraham believed. How many believers here tonight? And it says it was accounted to him for righteousness. And he was called the friend of God. I thank God that he calls us his friends. In spite of all that we have done, if we'll only believe, say only believe, only believe, only believe. Who am I that you are mindful of me? That you hear me when I call. Is it true that you are thinking of me? How you love me? It's amazing. Who am I? Who am I that you are mindful of me? That you hear me when I call. Is it true? Is it true that you are thinking of me? How you love
guys, we're back on Let's Talk KBNLive.com. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about addiction, and I just want to remind you, if you want to send a shout out to your friends, your family, your loved ones, you can send us a message on Facebook. If you wanna, and also, well, Let's Talk will be celebrating a year on October 4th. So if you have a special message to send, you can also send your messages. If you don't have a pen and paper, please do get one now, because we're talking about addictions, and this is an important topic that affects the youth. And so it's really important for you to know and be aware of these things. And I have a guest here. His name is Kenneth. He has been saying a lot about this topic, and so he's going to continue on the topic of addictions. So, Kenneth, you've said a lot. You've talked about what addiction is and what causes addiction, and you said a little about the different types of addictions. Please, can you tell us what the dangers of addiction is? Like, what are the dangers?
Uh, Many addictions have their different dangers, different addictions with different dangers. And for instance, say alcohol. Alcohol causes cirrhosis of the liver. It also impairs a person's ability to function properly. That's why you have things like drunk driving and accidents. And this is a very, very important cause of death, even in the United States and many parts of the world. Say gambling, for instance. Gambling, spending all your money in the casino and on other kinds of ventures of that sort. Many people have been ruined by such things. And it's also caused, of course, a lot of divorces and many problems between people. It also leads to mistrust, because there's some people who would actually steal or lend money from people just because they want to gamble, and they keep having this thought that they're going to have a big score and they'll be able to settle all their debts, and it's a vicious circle, a vicious cycle in which they lend more money, they lose more, and just to pay off their debt, they lend some more. Then, of course, some of these injectable drugs that they have around, things like heroin, it actually increases the chance of people getting things like STDs and hepatitis C. Then there are many other diverse problems that come with these addictions. And for instance, there's this particular drug that's called Crocodile. It's made from codeine. You get two codeine tablets and they are crushed, and the codeine is not really the problem. It's what they mix it with. For instance, you have people mixing these things with paint thinners or gasoline or toilet cleaner in some cases.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Like-
toilet cleaner.
Are you kidding me? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's a drug that has caused a lot of damage to people. It would destroy veins.
So,
And-
what does it do? Like, what's the effects? Like, what's the pop?
It has a very ghastly effect. Some people have their skin falling off. You have necrosis of skin. Some people, the skin falls off up to the extent that you can actually see the bone.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very severe thing. Some people had to be amputated just to get their life saved.
So why do they use it? Like, what
It's-
attracts them to it?
The codeine in it, the codeine is what they use for it, but it's, I think in the process somehow I believe that it's converted to desmomorphine.
Oh, okay.
That's the active ingredient anyway, desmomorphine, and it's similar in structure to morphine itself. It's just that it lacks a hydroxyl group, but it has similar effects. Its high is not as much, however, it lasts for a much longer period than morphine. But the effects of these drugs are very ghastly. If you see the pictures of it, if you just check it out online or something, you see the pictures, very ghastly pictures.
Wow. Wow. Oh, okay. So can you tell us, like, how does it affect the brain? What does it do to the brain? All these drugs.
Well, many of the drugs either increase the availability of neurotransmitters or mimic them,
Okay.
and some other drugs might just trigger the pleasure centers. There's what they call the mesolimbic pathway in the brain, and this is a pleasure center. It's linked to also places like the lateral hypothalamus and places like the amygdala. Sorry, not the amygdala. The nucleus accumbens, And these centers, when triggered, give a person this euphoria that is linked to addictions. So many of these people tend to seek out this behavior because of the pleasure. And of course, stressful lifestyles, anything that can get you out of that stress, anything that can ease your mind from all the rigors of everyday life. It's an illusion of happiness that draws people in, and most of the time grips them so hard, and it's so hard to let go.
Okay, I hope you guys are listening. I just want to remind you again, please get your pen and paper to write all these things down. You were saying, you said how it affects the brain. So like why is it hard to let go? Like why is it hard for them to let go of it?
Well, first of all, it's the pleasure they get from it. Second of all, it's the fact that relapsing is very common. This relapsing is majorly common because, of course, they like what they're doing, and because sometimes the withdrawal effect itself triggers a person to want to go back. For instance, in a person who's a chronic alcoholic, being off alcohol actually begins to have its effects, like they begin to shake uncontrollably, and they have this feeling as if they are like having a hangover and stuff, being dizzy and all. So this would drive them to even drink more alcohol. And to explain exactly how much this pleasure is, there was a study that was done on rats to see the effects of addictions on them, and these rats were given a choice between food and either an electrode stimulation directly to the brain or drugs. And they found that after a while, these rats preferred to press the lever for this stimulation rather than to press the lever for their food. So these rats actually starved. It was so severe that these rats were willing to cross electrified grids just to get to these levers.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's
Okay, so like that was how I don't know how were they able to do that, like they talking about the rats. So like what actually happened to what did they do to the rats?
They connected these electrodes to regions of the brain that are linked to pleasure.
Okay.
So by the time they press these levers, it gives them this shock in which they feel this pleasure. And after a while, they preferred pleasure to food. And these rats were willing to starve just to have that.
Okay now because I didn't understand the mechanism at first. We're gonna go on another music break now. After the break, Kenneth will tell us a lot more on this topic, and so enjoy the break. Don't forget to send in your shout out if you have birthday messages, or you want to send a special prayer to a friend. You can send us a message on Let's Talk.
As the clouds go gray, the thunder roars and the earth sings. The season's just beginning. Sunlight it hides as the clouds make way for the pouring of my blessings. I will not be afraid. I see it now, I understand, I know. So I embrace it, dance in the rain. It's for my seed to grow. For every prayer and every seed I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm making back 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. It's green for me. Standing alone can be a heavy load, but my vows I won't be breaking. Though my heart is aching, I got a word and I won't let go. It's your will I'm seeking, so I keep on believing. I see see it now, I understand, I know. So I embrace it, dance. Once again, it's time for me to grow. For every prayer and every tear I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping joy 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? The harvest is ready. The Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. I thought it was over, thought you were done with me, but we're just beginning. Whoa, my life is a journey. I will walk with you. I will go where you want me to. Yes, I will go.
Come on.
Shall always be with me. Mama so big, like don't smell it, don't say it. I'm a man, don't take for you. My son, yeah, eat too much. The way they undo me, nobody feel want me down. If you try it, you fall down so flat. Angel, tell them, make them, yeah. Feel the soul, the soul.
Olúwa mi, bàbá mi, mo tó sọ wípé. Tell them, say
guys, we're back, and I hope you're enjoying the music so far. I'm having fun on this at the studio here. We've been talking about addictions, and Kenneth has said a lot. What I mean, a lot, a lot. So if you're just tuning in, trust me, you've missed a lot. I'll see if I can beg him to recap a little, but I'm sure he can't give you all the details of what you missed. But if you missed today's episode of Let's Talk, you can always check back on Thursdays by 5 p.m. to get this same. It's like to be a repeat of this same episode. So if you missed out today, you can check out on Thursday 5 p.m. Okay, Kenneth, you've talked about how it affects the brain. So can you tell us how you can, like, what the practical ways on how to stop the addictions?
Well, to stop an addiction, the very first step would be to admit to yourself that you have a problem. If you don't believe you have a problem, then you're not going to try to solve it. So the first step would be admitting that you have a problem and that you need to stop it. Then, in other ways to stop addictions, you might consider talking to your doctor, because some certain addictions can be modified or at least assisted by drugs. Things like alcohol abuse might be helped by, say, the drug naltrexone. And also methadone has been shown to be helpful for people who have heroin addictions. But also you should also not reduce the human concept part of it. You have to understand that a very good support system, most of the time will determine success or failure of a recovering addict. There's some people who they need tough love, but there's some people who need a more gentle hand. For instance, there are two different people who had a problem with cigarettes. Both of them were old people and been smoking for years. In fact, the first person was someone who has been smoking for maybe about 30 or 40 years, and he once said that if you give him food and he refuses, that you shouldn't be too bothered. It's just possible that maybe he's not hungry on that day. But if you give him a cigarette and he refuses, call the Undertaker. And by Undertaker, I don't mean the wrestler Undertaker. I mean the Undertaker for funerals, and the one who will ultimately bury a person. So the man's son decided that he was going to make him quit by force. So he decided that he would just take away all his cigarettes. And I think maybe he tried that didn't work, because maybe he stashed some. So what he did was much simpler. He took away all the matches in the house, because this was a long time ago before lighters came along. So he took away all the matches, and at first he was miserable and complaining and everything. Every time he had this urge for the cigarette, his son would give him menthol sweets, and he will lick it, and the effect of the menthol sometimes would calm him down a little bit. And with time, his own willpower began to kick in, such that even though he was tested when his son left a cigarette close to him and actually left the matches, this time he got the cigarette and threw it away. So his son actually aided him to quit, and that day he quit. Since that time, he never smoked again. But the other person, his was a little bit more funny. He had been smoking for quite a long time too, and he wound up having a stroke, and he was seriously sick, but he recovered. And then, God bless the little children, his grandson came and walked up to him and told him that, I want you to stop smoking, and if you don't stop and you get sick again, I won't come and see you, and I will not care what happens to you. And the man pondered to himself that if his grandson would not pity him, he would rather stop this habit before it kills him. And that was the triggering force. He didn't go to any 12-step programs. He didn't attend any meetings or anything. He just stopped smoking just because his grandson told him so. So different people respond to different kinds of, methods. Some might actually require more drugs. Some might require rehab. But the key to rehab is never leaving till you are certain that you have kicked the habit, because if you leave and then some stress, triggers something, the person can easily relapse. And in many cases, that's even one of the reasons why you would have the doctors advise that people who are recovering addicts should not have any like relationships with anyone outside family, of course, like boyfriend or girlfriend, that kind of thing. You shouldn't have any relationships for like 6 months to a year after they've quit, because if the relationship breaks, it could be a source of stress that could drive them back into addiction. So that is one way to. Those are a couple of the ways in
Okay.
which addiction could be quit.
Okay, sorry to cut you short here. I wanted to understand something. You talked about going to rehab. I really want to understand the concept of rehab. Is it because they are secluded from the other people? Is that why they are actually stopping, or do you think they give them something specially in the like during at rehab?
Yeah, well, the thing about rehab is that yes, they're secluded, and also they do give them special treatment. But it's like the Bible says, "As iron sharpens iron, so does a friend sharpen a friend." A lot of these people are prone to continuing this behavior if they hang around a set of friends that exhibit such behavior. So being secluded, and also sometimes they're giving drugs in these rehab centers, in which these drugs would actually reduce their cravings for their addictions and modify them,
Okay.
and it would actually help them out. So rehabs and talking to other people with similar problems lets you know that you're not alone. It also includes part of the support system,
Okay.
concepts. So all of these things together with a lot of other things that rehabs do, they do help.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Because I didn't really understand the concept, what the whole rehab is all about. Because I felt if you can go to rehab, that means you can actually do it on your own, in your house, wherever you want. Like just stay clear. Put your mind there. Stay clear of whatever you're doing.
No,
But
that
I think
won't-
now I get it
that
better.
won't happen. I can give you a perfect example. There was a person who was even taken to a rehab. He had an addiction to food, which might sound strange, but he had an addiction to food, and he was taken to some kind of rehab center. This guy would lower money using his bed sheet to someone down below, because he was like in a story building, and he would lower money down and tell the person to buy him a pizza.
Are you serious?
So if you're trying to tell me that guy should stay by himself, he's not
You're
gonna.
not gonna
He's
stop.
not gonna
Yeah,
quit.
that's true. That's true. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I know I stopped you at first. So can you tell us more on how to stop addiction?
Yeah. Stopping it, you also need to remember that you have to forgive yourself. A lot of people who have been addicts, they've done some terrible things to satisfy these addictions, or while being under the influence of these things, they've done things like some people might have maybe, been violent, maybe to their spouse or their children because of alcoholism. They have to learn. You have to forgive yourself. That's more or less the first step, and also, it's getting closer to God would be very helpful, because there was this book written by a man called Kelly. It's called titled Spirituality and Recovery. It had some work done at Harvard, a study done at Harvard, and it was published in a pretty popular journal. And it was like the studies found out that prayers and meditation and reading of inspirational books, I believe the Bible is the most inspirational of them all, would actually increase a person's chances of quitting these habits. So they also need, further on the religious side of it, I would say, for a person who's addicted, you need to understand that you cannot serve two masters. You either love one and hate the other, or you love the other. It's that way. You have to understand that you can't serve two masters. And personally, I know that the best master to serve would always be God, because he's loving and he's kind.
Yeah, that's so true.
And addiction is a very hard uphill battle. It's one that a lot of people fight for all their lives, and having an ally like God on your side to do these kind of very difficult battles is something that would be very important, because addiction is is a hand of the devil because it steals your joy, it steals your life, it kills, and it does destroy. It's destroyed many homes. That's exactly what the devil does: steal, to kill, and destroy. But
Yeah.
if you let yourself go in God and let God actually fight these battles for you, you'll be better, because the Bible also says, he who the Son sets free is free indeed. He who the Son sets free is free indeed. Allow yourself to seek for help, not just the 12-step programs and rehab, but also allow God to help. It would help. It is the best form of help you could ever have.
Okay, and Kenneth, thank you so much. I really appreciate the fact that you made our time to come and talk to us on Let's Talk. Really honored. Okay, we'll be going on the music. No, we're going on the shout out segment now, and after the shout out segments, Kenneth is still here. Kenneth will tell us a lot more on this topic. But before he goes on, please, we'll have to fight. Today is our Independence Day, and so Kenneth is, well, I don't know, let me not say partially from Nigeria, but he's supposed to be from Nigeria. So I want to know how well he what he knows about his country, because I don't know, I'm beginning to doubt him. So he knows a lot about medical stuff, and he has said so much.
Well, it
so
depends on what you
he,
ask,
he-
right?
he has to know a little about where he's from, right? I have a lot of people on my side here. So Kenneth, can you tell us a little about your culture? Like, what can you tell us about Nigeria?
What can I tell you
It's
about?
our Independence Day, so please, we're supposed to be talking about Nigeria now.
Let's see. Well, at least I know that we came into independence October the 1st, 1960, which makes it 53 years this year that
Wow,
we've been independent.
wow.
We're under the British Empire. We're still under the Commonwealth,
Okay.
and the official language is English,
Okay.
of course. But there are many, many languages. There are about 250 of them.
Okay.
And my language is Yoruba, of which I don't understand anything in.
No. Wait, I don't think we're going to take that. You have to
I
say
know
something
it.
in Yoruba. Like, we have to hear you say something in Yoruba.
I think I'm going to dodge this bullet.
No. We have to hear something about. You have to say something in Yoruba. Let me hear.
Okay, grand. Let me see if I can think of something. Okay, fine. I'm only going to say one thing, and you're not going to
No.
make me. No, you can't make me say more than one thing.
Okay,
How many things do I know in the
wait.
language?
First of all, say it in English. Let me know if it's enough. What do you want to say in Yoruba?
No, I'd rather say the Yoruba than interpretation.
Okay, but I want you to say something long. So, like,
How do you want me? How much do you think I understand?
okay, let's try. But if it's not enough for me, and if I don't think if the listeners are not going to be okay with it, you have to say something more. Okay.
Not a chance. After this, that's it.
Okay.
All right. Let's see a sentence. Okay, I would say Abimbola.
What does that mean, Abimbola? I think that sounds like a Yoruba name.
Not really. It is a sentence. It means born into wealth. Like we were born into wealth. So that's pretty much what that means. It's a
Kenneth, I think you're cheating now, cause
that I might be cheating, but I got away scot free with that.
No. Okay, tell us how to say goodbye in your language.
In my own language, I would say goodbye is the answer to that.
Are you kidding me?
My lips are sealed, and there is no way you're gonna make me say anything
Okay,
else.
so that means that's a name, because I think I've heard someone answer Abimbola. Like, I have heard people call someone Abimbola.
Wait, you don't even know what it is, so
Okay, but you can tell us about your culture a little after. But now we'll go into the shout out segments. Don't worry, guys. Kenneth here has a lot to tell us about his culture. He can't escape this. So I'm the
Yes,
right
I
person
will.
to hold him back here. Don't worry. So we're going into the shout out segment. So don't forget, if you want to send a shout out to your friends, your family, your loved ones, you can send us a message on Facebook.
your blessings, you go jump, jump, jump. Baba God, they good, you to the bless, bless, bless. Anything where you talk, you they do, do, do. You just the bless, you know they stop, stop, stop. My God, no they lie, oh. Anything you talk, you they do, man. God, no they feeling.
Okay, I'm gonna start with first by wishing my wonderful, lovely country happy Independence Day, and I'm gonna speak my language a little. Let me see, what do I want to say? Okay, I think I can't come up with anything now, but later on the show.
You better come up with something after making me do that.
Later on the show, I'm going to say something in my language, at least because we're celebrating Nigeria, and so we have to actually represent my country. So I'm just saying happy independence to my country, and then I pray that God will keep the leaders and will also lead us far. Anyway, so the first shout out for today is going to Zonia Morris. Zonia is celebrating her birthday on the 3rd of October, and so we're wishing her many, many, many more years. God bless you, dear. Okay, Kenneth, I'm sure you have a shout. Do you have any shout out you want to send to anybody?
Yeah, I would like to wish one of my very, very, very best friends back home in Nigeria. Her name is Onye. I would like to wish you happy birthday. Your birthday will be on the 6th. I want to say happy birthday to you. Long life and prosperity. May true joy never depart from your heart.
Amen. Amen. Okay, the next shout out is going to Aldis Isaac. She'll be celebrating her birthday on the 5th of October. Aldis, I wish you many more years. I just want to say I love you all the way from St. Kitts. And also, my brother will be celebrating his birthday on the same day, the 5th of October. Chuka Eze, I just want to wish you many more years, and I pray that God will keep blessing and protecting you. Amen. Okay, so Kenneth, do you have anything you want to say to people at home, your friends, your family?
Yeah, certainly. I'd like to say love you to my family, my mom, my dad, my brothers. Also, I'd like to say hi to my other very, very good friends, Morayo and Maya. I miss you guys. It's hard being here, without you guys and all. Then I also want to say hi to my girlfriend back home, Jenny. I miss you, and you cannot put a number on how much I do. So yeah.
So Jenny, you can hear him. He says he missed you, and I wish we could also meet. I wish I can also meet Jenny. Okay. The last shout out is going to Alex. Alex is celebrating her birthday today on the 1st of October. And Alex, I just want to say God bless you, and I pray that your heart desires will come true. And please, the Nigerians are celebrating their independence at the Royals Hotel. If you're in St. Kitts, you can also come and join us to celebrate our birthday. It's starting at 7 p.m. at Royals. So you can come and join us to celebrate. We've come to the end of the shout out segment, and so Kenneth will just help round up on the topic of addictions. I'm sure he has a lot more to say, and so he's going to round up on the topic of addiction. If you don't know, we have our Facebook page, facebook.com/Let's Talk with Ivy on kbnlive.com. Please do like us on Facebook, and also facebook.com/kbnlive.com. Like us on Facebook and join the fun. It's really fun to be because we have different topics that affects every youth. So, and if you have any topic suggestions you want us to talk about, you can also send us a message. So, Kenneth, what more do you have to tell the listeners before we end this episode?
Well, to round off, I'd just like to say to people in addictions, don't give up hope. There is hope. As dark as it may seem, there's can be light at the end of the tunnel if you just are willing to walk to it. Just do your best, and even though it might seem hard, you can win. You can win. If your will is in it, you can win. And to people around those who are addicted, try and understand them. Try and be supportive, and just give them as much help as they need, because what they're going through is tremendously difficult to take. So that would be what I'll say for them. And to those who are not in addiction, I would say this: there's at least, for most people, there's at least one thing that exists that a human being can become addicted to. My advice is, don't go looking for it. Don't go looking for it, because you might say you're not like most people and you can take anything and you won't be addicted, but do you really want to bet your life on that? People have died from addictions, and people battle with them on a daily basis. Don't let that be you.
Okay. Kenneth, thank you so much. I'm sure you've heard his message today. He has poured out his heart here. And I hope that you've at least picked out something, if not everything, but you've picked out a lot of things from him. And I just want you guys, those that are addicted, to please put all these in practice. And then if you're not addicted, but you know someone that is an addict, you can also pass this same message to the person. That's why we keep saying invite your friends, and to invite your friends so that they can also be ministered to. We're going to be ending this episode of Let's Talk Now, but I made a promise to you that Kenneth would have to say some more things in his language, and he's not going to escape that. Trust me, when I say something, I actually keep to my words. And so please, Kenneth, please, can you say something in your language and not call someone's name? Just say something in your language. Thank you.
No, that's not going to happen. But if you want me to say something about my culture, I'll be more than happy to do that.
Okay, you have to at least say something, please.
Let's see. Okay, I would say one of the native Yoruba dresses, because my tribe is Yoruba, and I think the native attire is, for the females, I think it's Iro and Buba and Gele, I think. I hope I'm not wrong, because I'm sure someone who knows the right answer to that statement is going to be listening to this. And for the males, I have no idea what it's called, to be honest. But at least I know the one for the females, so I think I get half a point. Okay,
so have you ever worn like the male attire?
Oh yeah, many times. At least a good number of times I've been on this island.
Oh, okay. Kenneth, thank you so much. Happy Independence to Nigeria again. And I said I was going to say something. Actually, I can't think of anything now, but all I'm going to say is Cordy. That's Cordy means let's see you later, or I don't know, see you later, I think. So no. I've been speaking my language to them since this is your first time on the show. Oh yeah, right. So you have no option but to speak.
Yeah, go ahead. Give a phrase where she made me say a sentence.
Okay, I'm going to try and say take care in my language, but I'll still translate in English. Okay, so I can't even think of anything. Okay. Okay, Anya. No, don't worry. I don't think you want to hear that.
Out with it.
No. Okay, but I'm just saying. Nabo Cody Mbosiozo. That's let's see you later, or see you next time on kbnlife.com. So enjoy the rest of your week. I had a great time. Thank you, Kenneth, once again, and I hope you also honor our visit the next time we call you to talk about another topic. So you guys are here. I've said it in front of I'm glad you're hearing, so he can't turn us down next time. Okay, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week. God bless you.
This one is for world peace. Let's live together. Hey, yeah. When two become as one, the bond is there to stay. Then think of when that bond joins more, it blows away. The mind that can conceive the truth and will believe the power of the one.
Okay, before we go, I just want Kenneth to say bye to everyone.
All right. Thank you very much, Ivy. It was an honor to be here.
Thank you.
It's very amazing being in the studio. Very nice. And happy Independence Day again to Nigeria. Yeah, and to everyone listening, thanks for listening to me. And God bless.
God bless. And so don't forget, if you have a question for him, you can always send a message, and trust me, he will answer your questions. Okay, God bless you all.
You know I'll always be there, friend. And should we ever part, you'll be forever in my heart. And though the storms of life may